What's up, Headspaces? Another one for the ages, another one for the moments. It's VJ, your brother from the ancient mother, clearly no, Ta-Kaizer. And it's another very interesting segment. We're talking about something that I think is crucial to the game.
Don't say it's a segment.
It's not a segment, it's an episode.
It's an episode. Yeah, it's gonna be part of our conversation.
Jesus, I think the booze is getting to my head.
No.
Lord, forgive me.
Let's stop making new segments.
Alright. This episode is telling you about I think, Ta-Kaizer, the nature of the game, and when I say the game, I'm talking about capitalism. It plugs a certain stream of people who become known through the fact that they are backed by major labels. Okay, let me put it this way: corporate power, brands, whether it's a shoe brand, whether it's an alcohol brand. A lot of the rappers we come to know are, number one, rappers who are assisted through the aggressive thrust of commercial power, or really because they have really vital talent and they make their way and they navigate and they tread, maybe through taking advantage of a moment. And hashtagging it and becoming a sensation.
Or sometimes having a gimmick.
Exactly. We spoke about that, watch the episode. But very often than not, this means that regular, everyday hip-hop practitioners, whether they're DJs or rappers in particular right now for this conversation, get lost in translation.
Yes.
Because in order to gain people's attention, as we addressed earlier, it almost seems as if you have to either jump on a trend or be supported by powers.
Yeah.
So there's always a great rapper out there that somebody doesn't know. So this is an episode dedicated, and we'll be rolling a couple of these out. This is really part one of rappers you should know. South African hip-hop MCs who are putting it down, showing hustle, commitment, dedication, skill, and of course the A word is authenticity. We got a fat list. Ta-Kaizer, is there anything you want to say before we go into the list?
Okay, yeah, and another disclaimer, ne? Disclaimer. Is it a disclaimer? So
I don't know, let's hear it.
Okay, the thing is, ne, the rappers that we are gonna mention here are rappers that we haven't talked about. So what I mean about is that when we review your album, that means we are actually telling people to check you out.
Yeah.
So these guys are probably kids who haven't released albums for us to review, or maybe they released a long time ago.
Yeah.
So we thought, you know what? They're putting in work. They're releasing singles. They're releasing videos and all that shit. But a co-project, Pumayo.
Yeah.
So like, hey, so let's talk about them. So we thought, you know what? Let's do this. Conversation, rappers you should know about.
Great point, because we live in a singles era where snackable content, that's quick to digest, is what most artists will do. So a lot of y'all niggas ain't putting out full-length projects, which is fine, but here we are, rappers you should know. Number one, I think by now we might be a little late to the party.
Yeah, I think we are late.
Yeah, well, because the first rapper is somebody who has clearly made their way into the South African social media imagination. Mainly
everyone is raving about him.
Mainly because of a video he dropped called the new
national anthem. I think it was 2 years ago.
It was amazing because apparently this nigga speaks like 6 South African languages.
Even more.
And I was saying earlier on, but the only person I knew was a local with rest his soul, who could speak all South African languages. So I'm impressed, and if LANDROSE is watching, please tell me, brah, how on earth did you access the prowess and the ability to speak 6 to 7 or maybe 8 South African languages? But besides his multilingual abilities, this
nigga's talented. He can spit, yo. Incredible.
Like, number one, you know when I first heard him, there was this video he was doing, I just forgot what it was called, where he's walking through the hood and he's doing his thing.
I think that is his latest release.
Right, his latest release. And he kind of put me off at first because he had like this overt American thing.
Landuka,
So he was talking like, and he had bars, but I keep thinking, why do you sound like you from Brooklyn, nigga? And then
he switched
it up to vernac.
And I was like,
Tickle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, rapper le kaka.
See, this is what I love. Uti, this cat has because back to that part that kind of irked me out a little. Had he not had the ability to transcend and go back to a place which felt more authentic, I would have probably brushed him off as yet another MC with great potential who just happens to be taking all that potential and throwing it to an overseas market.
Yeah.
So I know this nigga could rap thoroughly in English if he wanted to.
Yes.
But I respect the fact that he understands the dynamic and the context of where he is.
Yeah, boy.
That Engumuntu wasemzansi, he needs to kind of understand how to really flow and gain the attention and acceptance and acknowledgement of his own people. Real name Bongani Shiba, he really is starting to make waves. He's starting to gain a fan base, and hashtag Team LANDROSE is something that's become an evident factor online, because truly, I don't know if I'd be exaggerating, but for me, I feel like he's the most exciting rapper I've seen in the popular space right now.
Yes.
And I can't wait for him to drop a full-length project to show us, can he take what is clearly an absolutely amazing lyrical presentation and translate it to storytelling,
yes,
authenticity, mass appeal,
emotional
depth.
Yes.
Can LANDROSE fulfill our 5 principles? Because I think in Jimmy LANDROSE we have an MC who has the potential to be a great. I'd even go as far as saying, if he and Touchline could go for bar for bar, he'd be a little bit better. Man, I've listened to this guy thoroughly before we did this video.
Yeah.
I really had moments to go into the different aspects of his work, and I think technicality wise, clarity, cadence, he's probably he's probably like 3.5 meters above Touch.
Okay.
There's nothing on Touch. Touch knows I love him. But in Jimmy LANDROSE, I think we have the potential for an artist who has, or who could have, mass appeal.
Yes.
And again, MCs need to learn that it's not only about winning the cypher, which means winning the approval of hip-hop listeners that you can actually rap.
Yeah.
It's about winning over the everyday person. Now I think it's LANDROSE's opportunity to show us that, can he make good songs?
Yeah, because most of his videos, it's been about, you know, the freestyle,
rap.
Yeah,
he's at a stage where he's really trying to show people, and the rapper at a level that is exceptionally higher than most,
yes,
which is real. So that's why he had to be our number 1. LANDROSE right now is definitely somebody who's rapping at a top elite level when it comes to bars, technicality, and just the nuances of understanding how to be a rapper that can be able to take the poetry and the craft of MCing and raise it to the next level. I hope he can make amazing music.
So that's number 1.
That's our number 1.
You should know.
You gotta check him out.
Look, this is for every single person that's been holding me down, saying Team LANDROSE and they just overly proud. They say he's dope and he's wow, always telling me the industry gotta pay me respect cause they just owe me the crown. Well, if it's time to take the throne, I make royalty bow. No, I'm Marion, but this is how it's supposed to be now. We too essential like the grocery style. I gave birth to the bars and y'all niggas took your ovaries out. Next lessons I got cool. Flow it ngichiche khalumfana swazwela amabhungu yeba ngali blind kodwa izinge ngifike alone andivele letho Stevie Wonder zizwa ngathi ngangibheka kabuhlungu mujima beleni nakawre moke totena la rure ngase ba features when they were charged at like kena mboja na akitlola bisha kabafana badinhlaya batharike nema banda ngoba ngiphetha you-tired ngizama ukunixelela ukuba ndiyabulela ngayonke mina ndizothatha i-universe molo apho zozibini molo obriqwana mhlobo wami hayi akhonto chief ngizama ukuxelela aba bantu bamsoze ndibaphoxe nix mashaka nikumbela kumdwela kore nikhensi nasikoda van'wane vomrepa nitava kuma sevate baberini antlangi na munhu me loko ni ba one punchline nitadwela munhu nkarhi ya we I herile.
Our number 2,
LALIBOI from the Eastern Cape, a Butterworth.
At Butterworth of all places.
Yeah, of all places.
I love rappers who come from obscure parts of the world because they expose us to narratives which are filled with great reflection. In that was funny, Butterworth, you know, carry the same pace of where the world is at.
Yeah.
But the smaller the place, the more intimate the expression. And I think the dude manifests himself. By no means is he a newcomer. This is a man who's literally, his career is extended. You might or might not be familiar with a group called Impande Core, with a group called Radio 123. If not, please remember these names, check the videos out. because they're not even hip hop. This is some Afro Afro contemporary folk soul music. The brother can sing. Yes. So think think Umle meets Slick Angel meets a newer version of that Xhosa rendition of urban street manifestation.
Okay.
Anyways, this is a guy who goes beyond rapping. Actually, the rapping is a new incarnation. He took form as a vocalist, he took form as a multi-instrumentalist. Brother can play guitar, and I think it's always amazing for me when I look into an artist's past and I found that
he's got a great-grandfather
within his blood
who's a writer.
His great-grandfather is W.K. Tamsanga, who wrote the novel Buzani Goba. So right then and there, this man is centered in culture. If you peeped his album, he had an album called Siyangaphi in 2019. Absolute classic. Check out the album. We might post a link to it in the description.
No, everything will be.
I think we should.
Links
because this for me was the top album of 2019. He had, I remember one person, I think it was a sister by the name of God of Gang. I'm going to give her credit. She might be watching this if I can subscribe. She once said, LALIBOI reminds her of a South African Q-tip. And I said, ooh, she's on the money.
Yeah.
The kind of attention to historical detail. He loves his jazz. He narrates a history of South African music through his art. If Siyangaphi, you are definitely gonna love it if you love a rich, intentional, retrospective look at the history of South African jazz. And we're talking about Abana Bafana Kipi Moeketsi, who developed what jazz creation and music is in South Africa. LALIBOI is definitely one of those easygoing, soothing yet reflective musicians who gives us both an eccentric and a reflective look at where we are going as a people. Probably the most popular single was Emondi, which has an amazing video. Check it out. This man is about returning to our past, but in a way that makes sense to our future. And he's an LMC. He takes the articulation as Xhosa and Xhosa rhyming to the next level. If the cats in Cape Town and in the different parts of the Eastern Cape who are pushing Xhosa trap right now
should definitely listen to him,
are taking Xhosa to the next level in terms of rapping, he's also doing the same thing. Kwelicala of the so-called alternative music side. He's really showing us that there are so many more cadences, so many more flows to explore within the language of Xhosa, because I do feel Umjita is a conservationist. I do feel that when he makes his music, he can't that he doesn't want us to forget.
Number 3, the cream is in. Ooh, I get my art gemaster.
Talk about it.
Woo! What can I say about Cream?
AKA Cream Machine.
Cream Machine.
Zigga.
I first heard him on a mixtape by Ulanduga on the Hype Sessions. I think the early 2000 or before 2010, on the Hype Sessions. I know it was mixed by Unyams.
I remember that mixtape. Shout out Nyambo.
Yes, he was on a group called Brainstormers. Yeah, I can't remember the track, but that's when I heard. I'm like, yo, the guy, like, yeah, no, you know, because you know my first MC and the Tana Africans is Jets.
Our Jets.
Yeah, so like when I heard Cream, I was like,
check out the Code series on Jets if you don't understand our love for Jets. But anyways,
yeah. So yeah, man, yeah, Cream, can't get more.
Okay, straight from Chaos River. What I love about Cream is that he's part of a new generation of Cape Town MCs who realize the importance of bringing yourself out into the world. His packaging is supreme. His videos, check out Cream's videos. They really show you the experience of where he comes from, and they bring you into an atmosphere that, if you realize the expression of ghetto struggle and how hip-hop is a tool for people in the hood to find ways of empowering themselves. Yeah. Cream is a master MC. Plus, his flows are bananas.
Yo, he's bananas.
What I love about the whole Afrikaans rap, aka rhymeklets movement is that it brings about variations of tonalities that make Afrikaans so appealing to the ear. I did Afrikaans in high school and I hated it for many reasons, but also because my Afrikaans teacher once said a friend of mine speaks Kafir Afrikaans in the middle of an oral. But anyways, that's my story. Afrikaans is a language embedded in politics, embedded in conflict, and I think what MCs are doing by using Afrikaans as a tool to rap is they're taking it outside of the context of Avia Beer, of your Jintere Blanche, and a language that scares black folk. I think one of the reasons the rest of black South Africa doesn't embrace colored MCs is because Afrikaans is a symbol of trauma to us. So the moment we say Afrikaans, we turn it off because Afrikaans represents Bas John, the person who whipped us, the person who made us feel inadequate. And I think people like Cream help shift Afrikaans to a more positive place. They show us that Afrikaans really is not the language of the Boer, but belongs to the descendants of Malay slaves, descendants of black people from the Kui, people who come from the sun, people who are here to bring about their evolving ethnicity in ways that can shine across their experience. Shout out to Cream Machine. He definitely reminds me of MCs who are influenced by that boom bap steez, but his ability to adapt to trap flows really makes him a contender to be one of the most powerful rhymeklets MCs in the era where Afrikaans hip hop is really getting an opportunity to reinvent itself. So he's in this list because number one, he's putting himself out there in ways that are interesting. Number two, he's challenging himself with different sounds, because this is an MC who's been at it since 2012.
Yeah,
he's not new to the game.
Not necessarily in 2012, because in 2012 that's when he dropped his
yes, that's what right.
On under Pioneer Unit,
which was one of the greatest movements in Cape Town.
Yes.
So by no stretch of the imagination is Cream a newcomer, but he's definitely one of those MCs who we consider underappreciated, mainly because of what I just stated. The Afrikaans is seen as a language of oppression, and as a result, colored people become marginalized in a place where they don't have representation put through.
But there's something I wanted to say also. Through his album, it was Brain Brewer.
Yeah.
Brown Bread.
Right.
Yeah, it was produced by Hyperdelic. Hype. One thing that
top 5 South African producers, by the way.
One thing that
here's the episode on beatmakers. Sorry.
Yeah. So one thing I think maybe Cream and Hype didn't realize was that Hype made dope beats to a point that I could hear people vibing to that album, to a lot of singles that he dropped. But black people who actually don't care much about Afrikaans, but they will say the beats are so nice that I could actually just zone out about. But what I'm trying to say is, Cream had something with Hyperdelic, so he shouldn't sleep on that.
He shouldn't sleep.
Yeah, because I know cats who don't know nothing about Afrikaans, but they will tell you about that album. Yeah, but so that album, yeah.
And I think maybe he might be doing the same thing in this phase of his career.
In this phase of his career,
he might be really appealing to younger hip hop listeners through these amazing beats. I don't know who makes them, but whoever makes them, shout out. Cream, I know you watch, tell us. So I think he's really evolving as an artist.
And I like the fact that recently he's been collaborating with different new artists.
You got what I'm saying?
You know, he's even on a drill track. Yeah, but
shout out. This is an artist who realizes something that a lot of MCs sleep on. That as much as you might like a particular sound, as an MC, it's so important to try. Just try.
Yeah, try.
Like, please.
I remember you saying,
challenge yourself.
Because he was saying he was challenging himself in terms of how to rap on a drill.
And there we go. So shout out to Cream for being authentic, for being brave enough to step into unfamiliar places and being able to do it in his way and still carrying it enough with flair.
The Cream is
Young Shanny J, he the plug, boy.
Nacht boy, blij in die skag boy. Ja. Ik skyn in die nacht boy, ik blij in die skag boy. When day koppelkracht zet ik mijn switches af boy. boy. Champion sound while I make it give back boy. Vibrates and stuff. To the bass funny sub boy. Ahoy na boy. For yellow maak ek sat boy. Yellow word gekras. To the pulle in die tracks boy. Die spirit van die Kaap sy is vol is in 'n sak boy. Vat yellow manne praat toen ek kan terwyl ek slaap boy. Ahoy, ahoy. Kinders wil my dag boy. Jou kinders vat ek af boy. And I'm not even that mooi. Sy bounce met die round pretty brown as sy gat gooi. Koi sun boy. Knows alles under the sun koi. Clowns in the town when you sound like my lag boy.
Our next name,
number 4.
PREEZY MAJOLA.
PREEZY MAJOLA.
Now you put me onto this cat, and I've had a complaint about Durban MCs for a minute.
Yes.
Because I feel like ever since Abana Bafa, no Abdus, no Zakwe, there's just been a monotony. You know, it reminds me of the time Pro Kid was killing it and everybody sounded like Pro
Kid.
You know, no offense to Deep Soweto. But anyways, I think...
and Red Button.
And Red Button. But without pressing any red buttons, I think what we need to focus on is PREEZY MAJOLA.
Yeah.
And the fact that, number one, he's an MC who I feel put his heart on his sleeve.
That's what I like
to
about
use
him.
the expression.
Yes.
In hip hop today, we lack storytellers. I don't know, people just want to make songs to shake asses or songs to kill other MCs. But we lack people who have a passion and an attention to really narrating common human experiences in ways that all of us can relate. PREEZY MAJOLA is storyteller extraordinaire, Zulu MC rap extraordinaire in storytelling. Where Zakwe was trying to do the multi-syllable / transcending into commercial thing, where Duncan was trying to do the Kwaito-esque, vibey, yet still reminiscent of basic hip-hop Zulu principles, PREEZY MAJOLA is in a category where his only concern is being true to his own story. And I feel like this is why he's a contender. The cat rarely even has much of an online profile. His music speaks so many volumes. Please check this guy out.
He released an album last year, I think in September. It's called Mzumbe, and that's where I think Mzumbe is where he's from. Yes, it's a 20 album track. And he recently dropped a video 2 weeks ago. A video, his first single. I think it's Nipsey Blue. Then
there we go.
You know most. You know the links will be on the description. So check him out, man. Check him out. I love. He's got heart.
He's got heart. Not only does he have heart, clarity.
Yes.
He's one of those MCs who carries his simplicity out in a way where he chooses his words wisely. His understanding of how to tell a story is able to weave in an exceptional detail to imagery. Lomjita really cares about telling stories, and again, we need more hip-hop storytellers. Life is happening and nobody's out there documenting the experiences of our people. Y'all just wanna fucking make money. Anyways, shout out to PREEZY MAJOLA. You deserve to be known, you deserve to be more exposed, and this, as the Headspace, is something we felt we had to.
Ukuqala kokuhlakanipha ukuba nenhlonipho, sibonga abazali singakulibala ukuthi ngaba sikho, noma emakhaya kuxakekiwe khona bangenakho, kodwa ukufa ungenalutho kuyoba iphutha lakho. Izinto odlule kuze ziyokwenza ukhuluba indoda, ukushaya umhlaba kubhlungu okudlula ukusunuka isilonda, silokhu siyovota kuthiwa kukusiza ukhononda, kodwa kushintsha ibala lesikhumba sakho bayalizonda, masiliguquzela ubumbano size simisa imizi, kwimicimbi yokusithuthukisa ngokuqala ibhizinisi, ngiyafisa sibhukude emalini angathi ibhishi libhizi, sidla ukotini adla izamba laponda urichi mnisi, ihembe lasilika isidodo siyashibilika, ngiswenkile ngiyaconsa njengeqhwa mancibilika, ibhola liyagingqika bayakupika mawubajika, inkinga abanye bayakudinga abanye basakuphika. Ngiyavuma ukuthi imali ayisishu, kumele igcine njengemfihlo uzungayisifu.
Last name? Because it had to be 5. Top 5 dead or alive.
We're always on that 5 shit.
It's a hip hop tradition.
Number 5 is Siyangaphi. That's the Free State.
Right.
CHABI Mass.
CHABI Mass.
Yes.
It's CHABI, but I think it's CHABI.
CHABI.
Even though he's not necessarily
He's not CHABI.
CHABI Mas is an MC who screams of boom bap nostalgia.
Yo, I get. Yo.
Yet at the very same time being so slick and modern. He reminds me of Joey Badass if he lived in Midrand. He's the kind of cat who is so classically hip hop and yet understands his authenticity as a South African. You know this about me. A lot of English MCs tend to get under my neck if they carry their global appeal to a point where you can't feel the reference.
The reference point. Yeah.
CHABI Mas is not one of those guys. He's been rapping for a minute. He's also a beat maker, so he makes most of his own beats.
And they're nice.
He's part of a crew called the Manson Fam, and he's also part of a collective called Mass Madness. I had to get that right.
Yeah, Mass Madness.
Right, and he's got projects already. One is called Mass and the Munchies, which he does with a cat called Munchie. And so as a result, he's been somebody who's been actively making the moves, and old school heads are eating him up.
They're eating him up.
If you love classic boom bap hip hop with a touch of contemporary flair, attention to perspective, and a lyricism that is razor sharp, you will love CHABI. And I think he's fucking courageous because in 2022, I'm dating this episode, there are not a lot of MCs who have the bravery to put a trap beat aside, to put a piano beat aside, and just do good old hip to the heart.
Yeah.
Shout out to CHABI Mas for teaching us that what Kuli Chana did can be reinvented.
CHABI Mas recently released an album. Is it an album or an EP? Because it's 5 tracks.
You never know with niggas nowadays. They will release a 3-track project that says my debut album.
Okay. But it's free. It's free. It's on SoundCloud. It's on SoundCloud and Bandcamp.
Right.
What's the name of this label?
Spirit of Nextacy.
Yes.
And I think I get where he's going. I might read. I probably will review this. Ecstasy, Nextacy. So the next thing to give us bliss and ecstasy. See, this is why CHABI Mas is incredible. He's one of those guys that brings you back to attention to metaphors, double entendres, similes. He's really an old school rapper trapped in the body of a young person. And maybe we need that, especially in South Africa. Maybe the spirit of South African hip hop could be revived by somebody who has the skill to bring it to the core, the past, but has the flair to do it in a way that can be accepted by the present. Shout out to CHABI Mas.
But CHABI Mas, another one, but they dropped also, but they dropped with
a guy called who?
Is it not so? Yeah, something like that.
It's called the Negro Food Sex.
The Negro. Yeah.
And it's spelled Negro as in Negro and foot sex. But again, this is a rabbity nigga. Like he's really about them bars. CHABI Mas is the kind of MC who will tell you, you don't get what I mean at that last line. And I like that because we're starting to do a lot of segments like Pula Pula, which are about reviving the art of lyricism and for people who love lyrics. So CHABI Mas is clearly a lyric lover and I want to appreciate it.
Niggas are the capitalized. Yo, it's all about me with a capital I. Plan your demise like a sandwich and fries, they gotta eat. You wanna keep it real, you ain't snacking on pride. It's mean on these streets, cast deceased every week. It's a disease wreaking havoc on my peeps as we speak. It's mind on cheese, so crime on fleek. Josh shine a light on me. Take care of the enemies that I don't see. Yeah, we might as well bless them. Now why don't we? My oh me, my nose bleeds from an addiction and I'm scared I might OD. Just gotta put it down, you be fine, OG. I can't judge, I'm putting downs on trees. I can't be talking like I'm so clean. I need water and a Bible, please. Guess I'm still a sinner though, I lie low-key. If you seek the truth, you look in my eye and you...
Yeah, all the links to those description below. So that was what 5
rappers you should know, right?
So
we still have more coming. We want to do this segment for 2 reasons. The industry will never do justice to all of the authentic talent that exists out there.
Yes.
And then number 2, for those who feel that way, please don't be dismayed, because there are platforms like the Headspace that are here for any hip-hop artist. Whatever sound you do, whichever audience you're for, if you love what you do and you do it in ways that reflect authenticity, innovation, and that take us to the future in ways that make us interested in knowing where we're going as a country, as a people, then please, when you watch this episode, you're the person that we're looking for. You're the person that we definitely want to hear. The only minimum baseline you have to qualify to be an MC, we need to know, is just do yourself.
Do yourself.
And the rest will be history.
Be consistent.
Yeah.
Don't come here with your first single. Yeah, we wanna see that.
Earn your stripes, nigga.
Earn your stripes.
Earn your stripes.
Yeah.
Right.
You on your first try, so from Babu Headspace, nah.
By the time we meet you, nobody's a bro. But anyways,
yeah. So that was our first and
rappers you should know. There's so much.
We should do this every month, at least once a month.
We probably should, because like there are so many rappers.
There are so many rappers.
There's so many cats we could have chosen, and this is going to be oncoming episodes. We're doing this for the survival of the culture. We're doing this to show heads that fuck the industry. We as a culture have the capability to feed into ourselves and grow. This is the Headspace. I'm Vijay, the brother from the ancient mother. If you're watching this video and I can subscribe, you are not somebody we should know about. Up until you subscribe, you do not exist to me. Ta-Kaizer.
Subscriber, kaka.
Please, so much smile and you want. Peace out.